All right. Up next, then, we had a bunch of stuff talking about, recap of Jon Stewart, and then we talk about Tough Enough, and then we see John Cena's 500th with Wish. But the next actual original Raw content, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon looking at the statue. We got a sneak peek of it. It looked great. Literally just made Seth Rollins look like Jesus with wrestling titles.
Yes.
And then Seth showed up, and they had to hide it under the curtain again.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, you can't come in here," and Rollins just does sucking up. He also kind of continued the sucking up because they had like a video package actually like before the whole Heyman Lesnar segment of Triple H just talking up Seth like, "Oh, Seth, what you did was so amazing last night, and now tonight we are going to present you with your statue." And Seth just said, "Oh, well, I'm so jazzed about it. I'm so honored. Thank you so much." He pretty much continued that lip service here. Oh, when I was touring headquarters, I saw how much everybody loves you, and just that typical camaraderie. Although I will say this. I'm so happy to see it. I'm so happy to see it because Ashton, I think me more than anybody, I have wanted to see consistency within the Authority. I've wanted to see a unified front, and I feel like we've finally gotten it lately, and it was really, really on display in these segments tonight. So I was happy to see that. So
Yeah, definitely.
I was like, thank goodness, because I was just waiting for them to kind of like sour on Seth's excessive kissing up or his demands or whatever. And no, they just went along with the ride. They loved it, and they were all unified front. I'm like, yes, more of this, please. So good stuff from the Authority here.
Absolutely. Yeah, this was really fun. Seth is just such a good heel.
Oh, dude, he's amazing.
Yeah.
He's amazing. I know there's going to be a lot of debate over his title run when it's over. You and I, like we've said, I don't think it's going to come down to Seth Rollins. It's going to come down to extraneous, circumstances if you feel like his title reign was mad. But between SummerSlam and everything tonight, he was on point. He's a great performer. And
yeah, I was even just getting ready to say, I feel like he might be just like the second best performer in the WWE right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He really, I mean, when he has his finger on the pulse and when he's on point, I don't really think there is anybody better. And
Sasha.
Well, Sasha, yes, but I just think in that World Championship, in that main event kind of spot, I feel like Rollins, yeah, he's leading the pack, man. He's leading the pack, and I'm very proud of him as WWE World Heavyweight Champion. That's why I feel like what he's getting ready for, which we'll get to later, I think he'll thrive in that role too. I just think Seth Rollins keeps being tested in this KOA presents. Oh, can you unify the titles? Well, you did that. Oh, well, can you do this? Can you do that? And he just keeps rising to the occasion. So. Great job on him.
Yeah, it's pretty great, I have to say. It's amazing to see the WWE putting this much faith in a young guy like this.
Yes.
It's something that they haven't done in a really, really long time.
Well said, my friend. Well said.
All right, so now up next, we get the kind of interesting matchup here that led to something even more insane and amazing. Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt versus Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns.
I mean, Ashton, there's really not much to say about the match itself, right? It was a good back and forth.
Well, I mean, it did end up in being a DQ finish, so you're right. There really isn't much to say about the match, and not even really the finish, because, like I said, DQ.
Yeah, DQ. It was looking like it was on its way to repeating SummerSlam, because Reigns was getting ready for the spear. But then we have the Wyatt video cut. Then it cuts back into reality. And we see this big behemoth in a black sheet mask just standing on the apron. Roman Reigns looking perplexed. The man enters the ring. He unmasks, and it's Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And let me just say here, guys, Ashton freaking called this forever and a day ago.
Oh, my God.
If you remember our Twitter reviews. Yeah.
I want to say, maybe autumn, fall of 2013, there were rumors that there was going to be a new member of the Wyatt family, and everyone was saying it was going to end up being Baron Corbin. And this was before he debuted with the Lone Wolf gimmick. And all I could say was it would Baron Corbin would fit, but I think that the perfect fit would be Braun Strowman. And it was because I had seen one of those leaked presentation skills promos. And he literally, all he had to do was show up and say, "I'm big, I'm scary, I stand out in the crowd. That's why you can't take your eyes off me when I walk through the curtain." And I was like instantly just like, okay, this guy has it. He's got the size. He's got the look. He can talk. He's going to be a freaking star. And the first thing that comes to mind when you see this big, scary guy with the beard is Wyatt family. So yeah, I drew that conclusion a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, and here we are today.
Yeah.
And let me say this too. Because you and I were kind of talking about Roman Reigns, after SummerSlam and saying how he's been consistently putting on these great performances and he's really come into his own as a babyface. And honestly, if they wanted to end the year putting the title on him, hypothetically, I wouldn't mind it at this point. I feel like I was ready to live with it if he had beaten Brock Lesnar. I wouldn't have been the biggest fan of it, but you know that I wasn't a vehement hater like a lot of people. I got to give him credit here because he looked really vulnerable at the hands of Braun Strowman. I mean, this is how a babyface is supposed to look to an opposition. I feel like the Wyatt family got their heat back because Strowman just beat the crap out of Reigns and Ambrose.
Dude, how horrifying must it be for a guy like Reigns, who is a big guy known for his power, to get choked out by a man who was literally cradling him to the point that his feet weren't even touching the ground.
It was such great imagery, dude. Everything about this arrival to me was perfect. Because Roman Reigns, to his credit, it's not like he let Strowman get the jump on him. He tried to get the Superman punch, but Strowman throttled him by the throat.
Yeah.
And he just beats him down, which was great. I feel like Roman Reigns must have had flashbacks to WrestleMania 31 against Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Because he was getting manhandled. And, Dean Ambrose, too. The look on his face, like, what is going on here? Like, he knows, like, something's not right. He tries to take it to Strowman, and Strowman lays him out, too. Again, to Ashton's point, he choked Roman Reigns out with, for those of you who do watch TNA, I can't imagine that you're in abundance. But if you remember Samuel Shaw, that character, his submission hold, which I think was called the Juji Katami, Braun Strowman did something similar to that here. And he just choked both guys out. But then, for Roman Reigns at least, because I don't remember him doing it to Ambrose, he gets him up.
Just to clear things up, the Juji Gatami is just an armbar.
Well, yeah, I feel like that's what Taz called Sam Shaw's finisher, though. Maybe I got it wrong. But
maybe Taz got it wrong.
Well, yeah, probably, because I know that's what he called it. But regardless, he choked him out, and it was similar to Sam Shaw's finisher, whatever that was. But then he picks Roman Reigns up. He's got him in a dominator position, but then he flips him into like a cutter. And I really like that finisher for him, and I think you did too.
Yeah.
Wyatt family reigns supreme. Ambrose tried coming back after that. He gets choked out. So Braun Strowman single-handedly took care of these guys. And I'm going to tell you guys the same thing I kept telling Ashton. If you're Eric Rowan and you're sitting at home recovering from an injury, you're sweating bullets right now and you're checking your mailbox more fervently than ever before looking for that pink slip. Because to me, in one night, Braun Strowman has made more of an impact to me than Eric Rowan has in his entire time running with the Wyatt family. I'm sorry, this is one case where version 2 really is better than version 1. I love it. Absolutely love it. Yep. Ashton, what did you think of it, man? You're the man that called it for practically 2 years. This is your moment to talk about it. What did you think of it, man?
I absolutely love this, and the main reason is because of the fact that nobody knew who he was.
Yes.
No, like this, you know what this felt like to me, John? Really similar, if not better, is when Mason Ryan debuted on the main roster because no one knew who he was either.
That's right.
Because this was back when FCW was basically an unknown. Like the only people that knew about FCW were the hardcores that like intentionally seeked it out, and the people that lived in Florida that went to the shows. You know what I mean? And could see it on television in Florida.
Right.
And Mason Ryan was the FCW champion for the longest time. And like, he was this big scary dude that I knew about because I was one of the hardcores that seeked out FCW almost every week. And next thing you know, this guy shows up on Raw as a part of the new Nexus, and people are freaking out about how, oh my God, it's Batiste too. And I'm just like, no, you idiot, it's Mason Ryan. And I was so excited for that. And I'm even more excited about this because everything that I have heard about Braun Strowman is positive. Obviously, we know he's got a great look. He's got a great build. He's gigantic. He is relatively articulate when he speaks. But to me, the most glowing endorsement is that I've heard positive reviews of his house show matches.
Now, actually, let me just ask you something really quickly, just to kind of, catch all of our viewers up to speed that may have not been watching Twit Wow way back when you made this prediction. Was Braun Strowman, was he an FCW product, or was he a
No,
Full Sail product, but he was never on TV?
that right? Yeah, he was never in FCW. He didn't even get signed to the developmental system until after FCW had transitioned to Full Sail.
Okay, okay. And
Yeah,
and see, that's what I think makes what you said work so well, because NXT's gained such a notoriety, such a profile, especially after this show in Brooklyn. That even if Braun Strowman would have made even one appearance, like a one-off, maybe to be squashed by Joe or something, people probably would have more readily recognized him. And the fact that they didn't, the fact that one of my friends even said, "Oh look, it's Bolt MC," that's both incredibly sad and incredibly off point. But I mean, you get the point I'm trying to illustrate, guys. Like, nobody knew, and I
yeah,
think that
because he was
adds.
never on NXT television unless you count his appearances as the Spartan.
You know what though? Like, I feel like ultimately this works for the Wyatt family mythos, because now
Yeah,
Bray can conjure up any story he wants about Strowman and it'll stick. Because who are we to question it if we never saw him on TV? He could come up with some story about how he found him in a basket abandoned in the Everglades or something, and he raised him ever since. Or he said something about, later on, Abigail's greatest gift. Maybe there's more there. We have a clean slate with Braun Strowman, and when you have a gimmick like the Wyatt family, that is the best gift you can be afforded. And he has made a major splash, I feel like, in one night. And here's the thing, Bray as a singular entity with his promos and stuff, I still have my problems to work out with him, but the Wyatt family as a whole act, I feel like just got a whole new lease on life
yeah,
after tonight with Braun Strowman, because I'm
they did.
reinvested in these guys all over again.
Well, and I mean, look no further than the fact that they lost to Reigns and Ambrose last night, and now tonight this guy took them both out by himself.
Exactly. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Just laid them both out, beat their asses, again, like you said, single-handedly. And man, like, it just makes you wonder what's in store for this new Wyatt family. I mean, obviously, Reigns and Ambrose, to be sure. But I mean, what's going to happen, when they're done with those guys? And when Eric Rowan comes back, is he going to try and contend Strowman? Are they going to try and do babyface Eric Rowan again? Maybe this time, being cast aside from the family and doing that. There are so many avenues they can take beyond Reigns and Ambrose. I'm just really curious what this incarnation of the Wyatt family is capable of. I am all in right now.
Yeah, yeah, and from what I understand, the sort of choke out submission that he uses is just an arm triangle.
Okay.
I mean, that's all I've found. Apparently, the Marines use it, and they call it a side choke. And then if you look up side choke, every result is just arm triangle, arm triangle, arm triangle. So that's probably what it is.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Ashton, anything else you want to say about this, man?
I'm just very excited about this because that I think I already kind of said what gets me the most intrigued is that Ambrose and Reigns beat Wyatt and Harper, but this one dude shows up and he takes out Ambrose and Reigns in the same night by himself.
And I guess the last thing I want to say, just as I don't really necessarily want to call it a Raw request. I guess you could call it more of a storyline request, if you will.
Yeah.
I hope they really make Braun Strowman the mountain that Roman Reigns has
Oh,
the most impossible time overcoming,
and dude,
as he
the
could be.
crazy scary thing is that every single rumor that I've found or read regarding Braun Strowman, he is a Triple H pet project.
Oh man.
So they are going to be the most careful with him in every way.
As they should be, dude, because I'll tell you something. If people were begging and pleading for Roman Reigns to have some kind of obstacle, you don't get a better obstacle than Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
They could really, really pile on the sympathy for Reigns here, because, again, he got choked out. That's great imagery. Ashton said it best to start the segment. When you're a guy that has the power game that Roman Reigns does, how much do you feel when somebody comes into your territory and beats you at it decisively? Good God.
Have you seen that image that Finn Balor posted where it's him in between two bigger guys and one of them's Braun Strowman and the other guy is a guy that goes by the name Dylan Miley in NXT. Obviously, he hasn't debuted yet, but
No, I haven't seen that image.
okay, because the this is apparently like Dylan Miley or Dylan Mile or whatever it is he and Strowman are allegedly supposed to be like the ultimate pet projects for Triple H.
That's crazy.
And they're saying that like this Dylan Miley dude might even debut with the gimmick of being Bruno Sammartino's son.
Oh, you know what? This Miley, I think I did see one picture of him,
Yeah.
and I remember his hands being huge. And I'm like, damn. So, yeah, I think I have seen this guy before. Strowman. Look at Strowman. Good God.
He's in even better shape now than he was in that picture. But the point is, these are Triple H's guys now. This is like Triple H's sort of regime starting to kind of flood into the main roster.
Good God.
And it's kind of scary to think about, too, isn't it?
Guys, Braun Strowman's arrived, and nobody's safe.
Yeah.
Follow the buzzards. There
And
you go.
by the way, I don't know if you caught it, but Bray Wyatt called him Braun Strowman. I don't know if that was a
catch
botch.
that.
I don't know if that was a botch on his part or if they just gave him that one little tweak in a rename or what, but just figured that was worth noting.
Let me ask you this, Edge, since I mean I don't want to like jump all out of swords, but while we're on that, are you surprised that they pretty much kept the same name with the addition, whether accidentally or not, of the R for Strowman? Did you think they were going to go with a new kind of name? Because I did. I didn't think they were going to go.
Well, I mean, like I said, I don't know if they're going to stick with Strowman or if that was just a verbal botch on Bray Wyatt's part.
Right, but even if it is Braun Strowman, do you think they would have gone with another name, or do you feel like that's a name that just fits anyway?
I think it's perfect. I mean, Eric Rowan and Luke Harper were Eric Rowan and Luke Harper before the Wyatt family happened.
Right.
So it makes sense to me that they would keep his name. And I mean, Braun Strowman is a horrifying name. Braun Strowman, either way, it's a terrifying sounding name, and it sounds even scarier when you know that it's associated with a man that looks like that.
I mean, well, that's just it, right? Like, I just want to say this, too. If anybody wants to get on the budge, I will call that man whatever he wants to be called if he even looked at me. Like, if he made eye contact, like, I am so sorry, Joe, Jack, Jeffrey, whatever. You can even take my name. I don't want it. I hate my name. Just please let me live. You know?
You could be John. I don't have to be John. You could be John. It's okay.
Yeah, I'll take a name. I'll just take a name from a different letter of the alphabet completely. But that's my point. Like, the name really shouldn't matter when I feel like this guy, with his size and his dominance, and I'm very careful with this word because I've only used it with really one other act. Braun Strowman could be an attraction. You know, who knows? I mean, he just has that look about him. Like, when you see him, you should know that something's going down.
Well, and not only does he have the look, but he is a legit power lifter.
Yeah.
Or at least he was. I mean, that was his career before he got signed to WWE. He was a strongman. He was a power lifter.
I mean, guys, I'm not talking for WWE to give the same level of protection or whatever to Strowman as they do, you know, Brock Lesnar. But I feel like this guy single-handedly could re-legitimize the Wyatt family.
Oh, my God, yes.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, and by the way, I know that you said that it shouldn't matter, but anybody whose name is Braun, I think, that's the last person I want to meet in a dark alley.
I know, right? It's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you lived here. You just slowly backpedal away, and
like I don't even need to see a silhouette. I just hear the voice say, "Hey man, my name's Braun. Give me your money." I'll just be like, "Okay, fine. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to walk down your alley. I know it's yours."
I just worked 2 23-hour shifts, but it's cool. It's cool. I'll just eat out of the garbage. Just eat out of the garbage. Just take it.
No. That's my garbage too. Wait, okay. You claiming the garbage? My name is Braun. Oh, okay. I see it. I know. I get it. It's your garbage. You can have it.
And then when he questions if I raised, no. It cracked. I'm going through puberty all over again. I didn't even know that was a thing, but you made prove to me that it was a thing. I am so sorry.
Men named Braun send other men into puberty again.
Exactly. Put that on a t-shirt. You know what? For all our talk about it, I'm almost tempted to give this segment of the night. Really great stuff.
It was my personal favorite moment of the night. And we even discussed that too, because I even said, Twitwow, everybody, the only place where the new guy that nobody knows about makes us mark out more than the returning legends.
Yeah, he did say that to me. Yeah, that was probably the most quotable line of the night. But I've got nothing more to say about this dude, but I can't wait to talk about Braun Strowman in the future. But in the present,
I hope he has a singles match on SmackDown. I hope he squashes someone. I do.
Yes.
Who's a generic baby? Let him. Oh, you're gonna love this, John. Let him squash Zack Ryder.
Oh my God, yes. Let him try the woo-woo, and then he just gets caught in the choke and gets choked out Michael Myers style. Choke that bitch out.
Yeah, Zach, you know this guy's submission finisher involves him getting an arm under your armpit. Why would you raise your arm to pump a fist?
Because I'm part of your... Limp! Piece of shit.
Oh, that's great. All right. Okay, we need to move on. As great as this conversation was,